cracked mirror never reflects the same image twice, and some betrayals, though quiet, almost invisible, fracture something deeper than we realize: trust. It is not destroyed by loud deception or open conflict, but by small, silent acts that corrode connection one grain at a time. A secret shared behind your back, a promise abandoned without a word, a smile that masks quiet resentment. These betrayals don't scream, they whisper, but make no mistake, they destroy. The Stoics taught us that peace is born from discernment, and part of that discernment is knowing what to release and what to never allow again. As Marcus Aurelius warned, the nearer a man comes to a calm mind, the closer he is to strength. That calm is not built on naive forgiveness, it is built on boundaries. Forgiveness without wisdom becomes a form of self-neglect. Here, we will explore the subtle betrayals that may seem small but signal something fatal to a relationship, acts so corrosive that forgiving them without consequence doesn't make you noble, it makes you a target. 1. Repeated lying. Imagine living in a house you didn't build. On the surface, everything seems solid. The walls stand tall, the windows let in light, and the roof shields you from the storm. You settle in, you sleep, you breathe, you trust. But one day, you notice a faint crack along the ceiling. Nothing serious, you think, a small imperfection. Weeks go by, and another appears, then a soft drip during a rainy night. Still, you convince yourself it's nothing urgent, until the day the foundation shifts beneath you and you realize this house wasn't built on stone, it was built on sand. This is what repeated lying does. It gives you shelter, then silently robs you of safety. It creates the illusion of connection while hollowing it out from within. By the time you feel the floor collapse beneath your feet, it's not just the lies that hurt, it's the discovery that everything you believed in was never real. Trust is not just a virtue, it's the framework that makes relationships livable. Without trust, you don't have a bond, you have a transaction. When someone lies to you repeatedly, they are telling you silently but clearly, "I would rather control your perception than earn your trust." The most stoic response is not rage, but calm and deliberate distance. As Seneca said, "It is more fitting to laugh at life than to lament over it." We see the cracks not as failure, but as messages from wisdom. Let the lie teach you, but let you decide how the story ends, not with bitterness, but with a vow to never again confuse manipulation for love. 2. Physical or emotional abuse. A relationship should feel like shelter, not a battlefield. It should be a place where you can let your guard down without fearing harm, where words are not weapons, and where closeness does not come with danger. When abuse enters, whether physical or emotional, the foundation of that shelter doesn't just crack, it begins to collapse. Abuse is not just a moment of anger, it is a repeated betrayal of safety, a boundary crossed not by accident, but by choice. Once it becomes a pattern, there is no repair, only escape. What's been broken isn't just trust, but your right to exist without fear. Emotional abuse whispers until it becomes the only voice you hear. You're being dramatic, you're remembering it wrong. You made me do this. Over time, you stop trusting yourself. Stoic philosophy teaches that dignity is non-negotiable. Your peace, your freedom, your power to think clearly, all of it belongs to you. Any relationship that forces you to sacrifice these things is not love, it is captivity. Walking away is not defeat, it is the highest expression of strength. As Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." That includes mastering the courage to leave what is harmful. Step out of the storm, not because you hate them, but because you finally love yourself enough to find the sun again. 3. Public humiliation. There is a particular kind of pain that doesn't strike with force. It slices with precision. It waits until you feel open and at ease. Then it strikes, not in private, but in front of an audience. That is the cruelty of public humiliation. It doesn't just wound, it performs the wound, using your dignity as the stage. When someone who claims to love you uses public moments to tear you down, they are revealing a fundamental disregard for your worth. A loving partner lifts you up in public. They speak to your strengths, not your flaws. Humiliation is a subtle form of dominance, a public demonstration of who holds the emotional leash. It's not about the joke, it's about the message. I can hurt you here, and you will still stay. Stoicism teaches us the value of composure, but not compliance. There is no virtue in being humiliated repeatedly and calling it resilience. True composure lies in acting from principle, and your principle must be this: love is never licensed to disrespect. As Marcus Aurelius advised, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. The real strength lies not in replicating the harm, but in refusing to allow it to continue. Your dignity is not available for public consumption. 4. Repeated infidelity. Trust isn't loud. It lives quietly, woven into every shared glance, every late-night conversation, every choice to stay. But when that trust is broken again and again, it's not just about pain anymore, it's about truth. Repeated infidelity isn't a string of mistakes, it's a message, and the message is clear. You do not matter enough to be chosen when no one is watching. We often romanticize forgiveness, but forgiveness is not a free pass. It's an invitation to do better. When that invitation is met with more betrayal, it becomes self-sacrifice. You begin to question what's real. Were they sorry, or just sorry they got caught? This is where Stoicism offers something grounding. As Epictetus taught, it is not things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them. What breaks you is clinging to the illusion that someone who keeps hurting you will somehow change without consequence. A relationship where you constantly brace for disappointment is not a relationship, it is survival. Stoicism teaches us not to place our peace in the hands of others. We only control what we tolerate. When someone cheats on you again and again, they are making a decision. You must make one too. This isn't about bitterness. It's about boundaries. You don't have to hate them, but you do have to protect yourself. 5. Gaslighting. There is a form of betrayal that doesn't leave bruises but quietly erodes your sense of self. It smiles, it whispers, and it rewrites your reality one subtle distortion at a time. This is the nature of gaslighting, a betrayal not just of trust, but of truth. It turns love into a courtroom where you're always on the stand, defending your memory, your emotions, your sanity. Gaslighting doesn't just manipulate facts. It makes you question your very ability to perceive them. You shrink, you censor yourself, you doubt your instincts, you become easier to control. The Stoics taught us to hold fast to our reason when we are right. Gaslighting demands you surrender your clarity. It is not love. It is intentional distortion meant to destabilize you. When someone does this, they are not protecting the relationship, they are protecting their power. Marcus Aurelius said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." When your thoughts are constantly under siege, your happiness becomes hostage. The fact that you feel confused is not a sign you are wrong. It is a signal that something is deeply off. Love should bring clarity, not confusion. It should strengthen your voice, not silence it. 6. Controlling behavior. A relationship should feel like open space, not a closed door. It should give you room to grow, to speak freely, to walk your own path with someone walking beside you, not in front of you. But when control replaces compassion, when domination disguises itself as care, what was once love slowly turns into confinement. Control is rarely obvious in the beginning. It may come softly, dressed as protection. I just worry about you. I'm only trying to help. But over time, Those words become rules: who you can spend time with, what you should wear, what's appropriate to say. One day you look around and realize you haven't made a real decision in months. Your life has been slowly handed over, piece by piece. That's what control does. It doesn't shout. It slowly rewrites who you are until you barely recognize yourself. The Stoics would have called this out for what it is: a loss of freedom. And freedom is not just the ability to go where you want, it's the ability to think, speak, and act according to your values. As Seneca wrote, "He who is brave is free." Bravery, in this context, is the courage to claim your life as your own. Control is never about love, it's about fear. A person who truly loves you won't need to shrink your world to feel secure. If someone keeps dimming your light in the name of protection, see it clearly. That's not care, that's control. Your life is too valuable to be lived on someone else's terms. 7. Lack of accountability. Every healthy relationship is built on the ability to take responsibility for our actions, for our words, for the impact we have on those we care about. Mistakes will happen. But what matters most is what happens next. Do we acknowledge the harm, or do we shift the blame? Without accountability, there can be no progress, only repetition. Think of a garden shared between two people. When weeds grow, both must tend to them. But imagine one stands back and says, "That's not my weed, it's yours." Meanwhile, the roots spread, choking the life out of what they built together. A lack of accountability neglects the emotional upkeep, leaving one person to clean up the mess while the other refuses to admit there is a problem. The hidden cost is not drama, but distance. When you express pain and your partner responds with defensiveness, it sends a message. Your feelings are a problem to be fixed, not a reality to be honored. Accountability is not just saying, "I'm sorry." It's about showing that the relationship matters more than the ego. A partner who never takes responsibility is like a traveler who never checks the map. They keep getting lost, dragging the relationship in circles. As Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." Stop pleading for accountability and start embodying it for yourself. You deserve a relationship where responsibility is mutual, where someone looks you in the eye and says, "That was on me. I'll do better." The Stoics taught us that peace is not found in controlling others, but in reclaiming ourselves. When betrayal appears quiet, subtle and disguised as love, it becomes even more dangerous. But recognizing it, refusing to excuse it, and choosing to walk away, that is strength, that is wisdom. As Epictetus wrote, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." Some people will never grow because they refuse to face what they've broken. Let them go. You are not here to fix people who keep choosing to hurt you. You are here to honor your dignity, protect your peace, and build a life rooted in clarity and strength. The silence ends when self-respect begins.